Hey guys, Joe. Liberty Garden put up a thing linking to an article about California, and I wanted to do a little video reply on that. So, for anybody interested, the article, uh, I'm just going to go through quickly because I don't want to take your whole day and address the things point by point. So, point number one, he says, and at the end, I'm going to tell you why they write articles like this because there's actually a propaganda reason. Starts out, his first point, there are more Republicans in California than any other state. Okay, that's true. It's just because there's so many freaking people here. That doesn't mean anything. There were more, toward the end of the war, there were more Jews in concentration camps than there were in Berlin. That didn't make the concentration camps a nice place for Jews. And I'm not saying it's an equivalent, I'm just using that as an example. The Democrats have a super majority out here, more than two-thirds of the Senate and all that stuff in the state house. So they can and do anything they want, and Republicans have no voice. You have no voice. You have a little voice locally, but that's about it. And then since it's such a control freak state, the local governments, they just don't have much power. So aside from who your sheriff is, and maybe some judges and stuff like that, the rest doesn't really matter. So yeah, there's more Republicans. So what? Uh, if we all left California and went to red states and swing states, we would own this frickin' country because our votes would matter there. And that's why they write these articles. Um, some counties in California were more open during COVID than in many red states. Yeah, that's true. Some of the very rural counties, like where I live, where not very many people live, but even there it was still screwed over. And again, so what? It's such a huge place. There's so many counties. Saying you only got slightly abused, moderately abused, and some people were abused worse than you. It just doesn't help. And I have to, at this point, remember, I admit I was in favor of 2 weeks to flatten the curve, but two turned to four, turned to whatever, and I began to have a doubt. And then I finally figured out what an idiot I was being. But anyway, so yeah, again, it's a so what point. It's bullshit. The next thing, Californians think anything is possible. Other states, people think small. What? They think small in Texas? I don't think so. um, that's just such a stupid statement. Californians are people just like anybody else, and half of them don't speak English. And other people don't think small. It's just, yeah, a lot of Californians think anything possible. They're raising their vibrational energy and they're manifesting a better life. Stupid shit. Anyway, deal flow. Everyone is up to something out here. That's true. There's a lot of people with side gigs or trying to start business. There's a lot of people trying to do stuff because they're trying to survive because it's so effing expensive out here. And some of these cities, in some places in Los Angeles and San Francisco and stuff like that, you can easily spend $6,000 a month, $7,000 a month for a one-bedroom, one-bath apartment. I have a friend. It's a nice house. It's a nice house, about 2,000 square feet. I think it's a three-bedroom, two-bath, up in the San Francisco area, and it's nice. It's a nice area. I like it. It's very nice. It's $2.2 million, and it's just a house and a tract. You imagine the insurance on that? Can you imagine the property taxes? Can you imagine? So yeah, deal flows. Yeah, everybody's trying to come up with some way to survive. Um, California has remarkable geography, and then some other sentence I didn't write down, but it was something about culture or something. It was something that just tells you right away this is a blue person writing this article. Um, and yeah, California has remarkable geography. That's true. We've got incredible mountains, incredible beaches, incredible deserts. We got rainforests up north. We got everything. Because again, it's such a huge state. It's got a lot of ugly stuff too, and half of the incredible stuff, like about half our coastline, and everything, you can't go there anymore. And fishing, oh geez, you gotta have GPS mapping and everything, and download the latest stuff on your boat, or you better not go fishing because they're constantly changing where you can and cannot fish out in the freaking ocean. And like right now, you're not allowed to fish deeper than the 50 fathom line, which is not at 50 fathoms. It's at different depths. It's a random line drawn at the state, and it's a $1,400 fine if you're on the other side of that line. I had a friend. He was about 100 yards on the wrong side of the line. $1,400 a person. Yeah. So yeah, remarkable geography, but you can't access half of it. There's so many places that I used to go as a kid that you cannot go anymore. You just can't. It's a game preserve. It's a whatever. The roads are closed. Can't camp there. Can't go. Um, Says you can still get a concealed carry permit. That's true in some rural places, but for 90% of Californians they can't. And for the other 10% that live in rural places with good sheriffs, yeah, you can still get a concealed carry permit. You got to take the classes and all that stuff. And you are going to pay about twice, by the time everything's done, you're going to pay twice as much for your gun as a guy in a regular state pays. And there's a handful of guns you can choose from. When I went and bought my little revolver, and this was years ago, it's gotten worse than that. It took me the longest time to find any gun I could buy that I wanted. I'd search on the internet, and people would be, "Oh yeah, get one of these, get this SIG, get this, um, uh, Glock, get this CZ, get this what." And I go down to buy it, and no, you can't buy that unless you're a cop. No, you can't buy that in California unless you're a cop. All these guns you can't buy. We have a roster. There's just a handful of guns you can buy. That's it. And then he goes on to say, "Sure, you can't get ARs or Gucci guns, but a vanilla Glock is all you really need to defend yourself." Since when is the Second Amendment about self-defense? Again, another thing indicating this guy is not a red guy writing this. He's an imposter, and for you guys, I don't even need to go any farther in that. Okay, then his next point: everything cool starts in California. Yeah, like what? Like drag queens reading books about sexuality to kids in kindergarten, or what do you think is cool? He says Bitcoin, things like that. Yeah, there's a lot of techie stuff and things like that to start in California. Again, it's a huge state. There was a lot of money flow, a lot of tech industry, although that is moving. It's leaving. It's going to places like Texas and stuff like that. Elon Musk is out. A lot of people are out. Squarespace is going. Anyway, yeah, a lot of cool stuff started in California. A lot of crap started in California too. And then he goes on and he finishes in a crescendo. California is the center of the world. This is a stupid statement. It's just too stupid to address any further, And anyway, the reason that they write these articles is, first off, to try and convince themselves that, well, we're not oppressing, and this isn't a control freak place. We're good. Second off, to try and convince moderates or ignorant people out in other parts of the country and other parts of the world that, oh yeah, no, California's just like the rest of the country, except it's great, But a huge part of it is the left deliberately, these left operatives, like Hoople's cat, did this to me. They try and talk you into staying in blue states because they know your vote doesn't count there. That's why. And I've heard them talk about it and tell each other to do it. Oh yeah, if you see, tell them, And because if we move to swing states, those states swing red, it's all over for the blue, right? Or if we move to red states, knowing what we know here and fight against it and warn those people, no, we did that in California and it resulted in this. No, don't do that. We strengthen the red states and keep them red. So they want as many red people as they can to stay here while they still maintain their supermajority. Because they have a supermajority, they can and do anything they want. That's all there is to it. And so that's why these articles are written. They're propaganda pieces. Right now, they are grooming Gavin Newsom to run for president next time around. All of a sudden, he's trying to clean up homelessness. He's acting like he's the law and order governor. All these unpopular things he's suddenly for or against. And all. It's a total scam. It's a total scam. And they're using their control of the legislature to help him with the propaganda, because the legislature can pass anything they want. So what they started doing is passing ridiculous things so Gavin Newsom can veto them. So he can look like he's so reasonable. And an example is they just passed a bill to give $150,000 to any illegal alien who buys a home. And Gavin Newsom said, no, that's unfair. We can't do that. And he vetoed it. And they're like, oh, he's so moderate. It's a total scam bill. They never intended it to get passed. They do not pass anything that he's not going to sign on purpose. Anything that he doesn't sign was passed deliberately so he could veto it to try and look good for his presidential run. They're trying to paint him as a moderate. Anyway, that's where we stand. God bless America and all of you guys, and have a good one.